towering oak rainforests grow thick and untamed. Lowlands flood into vast wetlands and murky swamps. Along the coastlines and river mouths, dense mangrove forests spread their tangled roots into the water. For decades, the creatures of this land have lived in total isolation. No migrations, no invasions from distant continents. Evolution here has followed its own path, and the result is a collection of alien species unlike anything you have ever seen before. Welcome to the continent of Chitophilia. You are part of the ant legion. The queen has given a command. You must venture deep into this strange and unfamiliar forest. What waits ahead is unknown, so prepare yourself. Return now to 22 million years post-seeding. This was the moment when creatures from other continents first managed to cross the oceans and invade the isolated land of Chitophilia. Among the first to arrive was the raptor ant clan, stepping onto these untouched shores and establishing a new kingdom. Around you, towering oak forests rise thick and ancient. The sound of river water echoes through the canopy, while pools of swamp water lie scattered across the forest floor. When the queen commands you to search for food, your footsteps echo as you march deeper into the dense rainforest. And there, in the shadows of the forest floor, you encounter something alien, a herd of aphids. Their bodies are 5 times larger than your entire ant legion. These creatures are known as grass aphids, herbivores that feed on grass sap, root crown sap, and occasionally the fluids produced by underground fungi. From their heads extend piercing stylets, nearly 15 to 20 centimeters long, used to stab into grass stems and root crowns, extracting sap continuously. Their legs are thick and powerful, built for slow but steady movement across the damp forest floor. At first glance, they resemble strange armored turtles. Their swollen abdomens are protected by a segmented exoskeleton, forming a bulky and rounded body. Inside, a massive fermentation gut filled with symbiotic microbes allows them to break down tough plant cellulose. Their sipunculi have also evolved into defensive organs. When threatened, they can spray a sticky chemical substance that slows the movement of predators. But perhaps their most valuable feature is something else entirely. As they digest the enormous amount of sugar in plant sap, excess nutrients are expelled as honeydew. This sweet liquid becomes a constant source of energy. Grass aphids live in colonies of 10 to 40 individuals, slowly roaming across the forest floor. When the breeding season arrives, they lay eggs in massive numbers, ensuring that the next generation spreads across the land. Compared to the aphids of the fungal marsh continent, these ones are enormous. Their gigantic size likely evolved because this land once lacked large predators. They move slowly. Their main protection is their thick exoskeleton. When your ant legion attacks, their colony scatters in panic, making them easy targets. You could hunt them for food. But there is another option. Even without attacking them, your colony can harvest the honeydew they produce, a rich sugar resource created simply as a byproduct of their metabolism, a free source of energy flowing directly from the biological waste of these alien herbivores. At the same time, you begin to notice that this forest is home to other strange creatures. Deep within this wilderness, evolution has taken unusual paths. Because large leaf eaters are absent from this ecosystem, the forest canopy has grown taller and denser than ever before, and within this towering forest, the lineage of aphids has split into different evolutionary paths. Some of the smaller aphids never evolved into the giant grass aphids of the forest floor. Instead, they adapted to a completely different niche. They became something new. These creatures still resemble typical aphids in body shape. However, they are much smaller than the massive grass aphids, yet still larger than any individual raptor ant in your legion. These are known as tree aphids. Tree aphids are leaf-eating specialists. Their stylets have evolved into a piercing, rasping mouth part, allowing them to scrape and pierce soft plant tissues. Each of their legs is equipped with hooked claws and adhesive pads, perfectly adapted for climbing tree bark and gripping branches. Their abdomen is large and swollen, housing symbiotic gut bacteria that help process tough leaf tissue. Unlike ordinary aphids, their exoskeleton is thicker, giving them better protection, yet it remains flexible enough for climbing and movement. Their sipunculi serve as defensive weapons. When threatened, they can spray a sticky secretion that slows down predators, giving them time to escape. Tree aphids live high in the upper canopy, feeding on young leaves, buds, and soft shoots. They form small colonies of 6 to 15 individuals, and during the rainy season, their population can grow rapidly. Just like other aphids, tree aphids also produce honeydew. This sugary liquid can become a valuable food source for ant colonies. Your colony could gain even more resources here. But there is a problem. Tree aphids are arboreal herbivores, living high above the forest floor, and your kind, the raptor ants, are not particularly skilled climbers. Your colony prefers to live within underground tunnels beneath the forest floor rather than navigating the towering trees above. However, every herbivore and every food source in this land will inevitably attract predators, and the predators here are something you could never have predicted. This predator shares the same ancestor as both the grass aphid and the tree aphid. Yet instead of becoming a plant eater, this lineage evolved into something far stranger. It became the only scavenger and opportunistic hunter in Chitophilia. This creature is known as the Carrion-hunter Aphid. Its body is even smaller than the tree aphid and far more slender in shape, but its head is noticeably larger. From its mouth extends a sharp rostrum used to pierce the soft tissues of carcasses or weakened prey. Once the rostrum penetrates the flesh, the aphid releases digestive enzymes that liquefy the tissues, allowing it to absorb the resulting nutrient slurry with ease. Its long antennae constantly sweep the air, detecting the faint scent of decaying bodies or vulnerable prey. Its legs are long and powerful, equipped with hooked claws that allow it to grip surfaces and pursue targets across uneven terrain. Its sipunculi serve as a chemical defense system. When threatened, they spray a putrid secretion, a mixture of alarm pheromones and foul-smelling compounds that can distract enemies while signaling danger to nearby colony members. Carrion-hunter aphids hunt in small colonies of 6 to 15 individuals. Although their primary food source is carrion, they are far from harmless scavengers. They will also attack injured prey, molting arthropods, juveniles, and any creature that appears weak or sick. When hunting, the colony surrounds its target. Then they strike together, piercing the victims simultaneously. The prey slowly collapses as body fluids drain away and enzymatic digestion begins while it is still alive. These hunters usually patrol forest floors, riverbanks, and areas rich with carcasses, but they are also fiercely territorial. If they encounter another colony, tensions escalate quickly. They may intimidate each other, release warning odors, or even engage in violent fights. And sometimes, the rival colony they encounter will be yours. For the first time, the raptor ant legion becomes their opponent. In a direct confrontation, the carrion-hunter aphids possess an advantage. Their bodies are larger and stronger than the soldiers in your ranks, and their chemical spray releases a powerful nauseating odor that disrupts attackers. In a territorial battle, your forces would likely suffer a devastating defeat. But numbers change everything. If you bring a much larger legion, your colony could intimidate them, and if the opportunity arises, you could even overwhelm them and turn these predators into food for your own colony. That is why, in the depths of this strange forest, you must always remain ready. Every step forward could lead to another battle waiting in the shadows. 25 million years after the seeding, heavy rains now pour over the tropical forests with relentless intensity. The constant downpours reshape the landscape, creating expanding wetlands, winding creeks, and flooded lowlands. Across the coastlines and river mouths, vast mangrove forests begin to emerge. Along these shores, mangrove trees grow thick and tangled. The blooming mangrove, an iconic plant of Arthronia, now dominates these coastal ecosystems, forming dense forests that stretch across estuaries and tidal zones. Meanwhile, within the swamps, another unusual plant begins to spread, a species capable of surviving where most plants cannot. In these waters, the soil is saturated with acidic compounds and high concentrations of dissolved iron, creating conditions toxic to ordinary vegetation. Yet one plant thrives here, the acid fern. Its tissues are specially adapted to tolerate the harsh chemistry of the swamp, allowing it to grow in places where other plants would quickly perish. Because of these extreme conditions, toxic zones begin to appear in several parts of Chitophilia. These areas form where stagnant swamp water mixes with acidic peat soil, creating unstable and hostile environments. But life in Chitophilia is already beginning to adjust. Slowly, species start adapting to the new rhythm of this changing world. From the riverbanks, to the flooded wetlands, to the tangled forests of mangrove roots along the coast, evolution continues to reshape the creatures that live here. And among them, one lineage remains the most dominant, the aphids. Over millions of years, these insects begin to diversify even further, splitting into new evolutionary paths, becoming specialized creatures, each uniquely adapted to survive within their newly transformed environments.